Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you back to the Dynamic Decisions podcast, where we explore the strategies that drive successful decision-making in the world of business. Why? Because the best decisions come from great conversations. I'm your host, Teasha Cable, CEO of CModel Data, and today we have a leader in technology innovation and digital transformation. His name is Jawaid. He's the co-founder and chief technology officer at KoderLabs. Jawaid brings over a decade of experience leading technological direction in AI, blockchain, and automation to develop scalable, secure, and seamless custom software solutions. He also serves as CTO at Tech and Brains, managing staff augmentation services, specializing in AI and machine learning. And he really is big on driving different sales processes and innovation. And he's got a wealth of experience to offer us. Thank you so much, Joy, for being here today. Would you tell us a little bit more about you and about KoderLabs?
And previously, we were working in a big software company. Then we switched to an Oxford-based startup. And there we saw what actually startup is, how it works, what's entrepreneurship. And then from there, we thought, why not we ourselves provide services to the industry and make a positive impact through it. So from there, we started the three friends from a small apartment, and now those three friends grew the company that's now located in 3 different countries and with around 200 plus employees.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. First of all, thank you for hiring folks and being in a position to extend what you're doing so that people actually have jobs, which is ultimately the point of business. So you're a leader. What do you believe is the most critical element for organizations to succeed when they're trying to leverage technology like the technology you build in order to drive real, true, meaningful business transformation, especially when things are moving lightning speed?
People who have 100% buy-in that this technology is there to help them. And secondly, it needs to be so smooth and easy in user experience that when a person starts using it, it's like a toy, you figure it out by yourself rather than a documentation of 100 pages there, and you have to add another task in your KPIs that you have to use the software for your businesses.
It's really good. I like the idea that you need 100% buy-in. That starts at, we all believe the problem that this software solves is an important problem to solve. The user, everyone agrees on that. And then these very complex things that people need to solve need very simple systems. This is why someone would get paid to develop something versus people just doing stuff on their own, because you have to be able to condense that complexity down. So I do believe that's super important. So that's great advice. How do you make sure that the technology talent and the leadership that you provide actually aligns with the business goals of your clients? So if you think about your AI projects, your blockchain projects, how do you do that?
Okay, so when we onboard a project, we onboard it we have a saying in the company that we are here to make success stories. And what's a success story? It's you are not here to do a project. You have to make it successful. And how do you make it successful? By understanding the business like an owner. So if you do not understand the business, there is no point that you should be assigned on the project in any capacity, be it just a software developer, a QA, or even a requirement analyst, because you have to have the understanding of the problems that the business has. You have to be the owner of the company in itself in virtual world. So that's the one important thing when we are even building the team, to have the right mindset in place. It's been a journey for us. Previously, we did this way. We built the projects and did launch them, and we saw that the projects didn't have that traction or adaptability. Then we tried to figure out where we are doing wrong, and then we improved our process. And for us, before we start the actual project itself, we have a 6 weeks discovery calls where we analyze the requirement, understand why the company is coming to us for getting this thing done. So we understand things, document it, get it verified by the stakeholders, then do a basic prototype. Once everyone is on board from the stakeholder side, then we start the development phase. And this way, we ensure that the final product that we hand over to the client is what they need actually, and helping them in their process. And like it is a success story in final sense.
Are you guys using AI at all in support of doing this work?
At least 3 to 4 times. And yes, the adaptability of those tools are getting more and more as we go along, because those tools are actually improving, right? If I talk about like last 1 year before, it was ChatGPT all the way, but now we have so many softwares which are outperforming the performance as compared to ChatGPT. There's Cursor, Lovable, and other tools which like can make your website, make your web application a simple prototype.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in hours, if you understand exactly what your requirements are. I think some of the work is in the decision making around the actual requirements. I see. So, like, it can take a role like yours and you become a strategic advisor to folks, because it's not just about building the software, it's actually ensuring that you've got the right set of stuff at the right time in order for the company to meet their needs. So can you share some insights on how you believe automation, AI, really explicit data management can improve decision making? Are there any challenges that you've seen companies have that they could potentially adopt solutions like the ones that you build in order to support them?
Now what we have done is that it's again in prototype, but what we did is that we recorded all the calls and then fed those calls to the AI model. And we did define certain parameters to judge those calls on those parameters and rank them. And if they notice any certain problems, they kind of highlight that at this point of time in the call, this person made this mistake or this was the issue that they need to be improved. And
I think ultimately AI is a tool. Automation, the function is a tool. All things to help improve how quickly or improve the quality of how we actually get things done.
One thing that you mentioned, and it's very important in this aspect, is that AI is a tool. It's not here to replace us, because most of the time people think like, what's going to be happening to our job? Are we going to become jobless? No, it's not like that. It's similar to the industrial revolution. It's the AI revolution. You have to adopt things. You cannot just postpone it like, I want to adopt AI because if I do it, I would be replaced. It's not like that. If you do not adopt AI, you would be replaced for sure.
You'll be out of business. Come on. Tell them. Yeah.
So it's the tool, and the output of that AI tool, it depends on the user itself. So how well you use it, like you mentioned that you can achieve a application or a prototype within hours as well, depending on how well formed your prompt is. So it depends on how you use it.
Yeah, 100% agreed. So you've led technology strategy. One example of that was at Moment Pen was an organization where you did that. So you focused on privacy and trusted user connections. How do you balance innovation with privacy and security concerns when you're developing user interaction type platforms?
So it was a good, interesting challenge. The product itself was from the European region, and the European countries are very focused towards the privacy and all that. Like they have a GDPR law. It's very crazy when it comes to data. So in terms of innovation, yeah, we have to be careful on how we proceed forward. But I believe it's all about how you navigate the compliances. Compliances are there to improve the system rather than stop the innovation. So you can still implement AI, you can still implement blockchain and different technologies, but you need to be within the compliance of the certain regulations that are in that certain region or within that certain industry.
One of the things that I was thinking about was, as you work across these diverse roles and industries, are there any particular key performance indicators that you find to be the most telling when you're trying to assess whether technology initiatives are actually working? Like, are they actually delivering real competitive advantage for your customers? And you know what? I want the one that your team looks at you and thinks you're absolutely crazy because you're always telling me that number.
Right. So yeah, I think it's more of a user feedback, right, kind of thing. But yeah, believe in the data backed decisions. So we kind of have certain user experience KPIs in place where we ship the product and monitor how the system is being used, right? Certain tools that can help you in that regard. And eventually what happened is that after certain projects, you kind of get to know like how to make the user experience so user friendly that it is easily adoptable. People are finding the right tools within the application easily and able to create a positive impact through that tool.
So the users have to come, they're going to use it, you know that they're engaged. So there are some engagement metrics, things that are actually going to indicate whether or not the problem that you solve is big enough, whether or not the solution that you have will get you to some level of product market fit. I completely agree based on that. So that's good. So for our audience, this is a message directly to our audience for just a moment. I want you to think about your organization's technology strategy and digital transformation efforts. Are there innovations that have created meaningful impact on your business outcomes? We'd love for you to share your experiences with us on LinkedIn and other social media using Dynamic Decisions Podcast. Jawaid, let me ask you about your leadership. So when you're leading these cross-functional teams, you're managing these complex projects, are there strategies that you put forth to your team that actually build up collaboration? Maybe it's collaboration so that you can innovate, but are there any particular tactics that you'll be willing to share with us?
I think the number one strategy for decision making and strategizing thing is to make the decision based on the facts and data rather than gut feelings. And secondly, I think at the core of every business, it's people, right? So you need to empower the right people, the smart people, to make decisions. They will all make mistakes, that's okay, but you need to let them make the decisions because they are the core people who are on the ground fighting our battle. So they need to have the empowerment of doing things as they see. Yes, with that, we need to have a constant feedback cycle, constant monitoring cycle where we kind of guide them where they could have done better. It's not like we are doing the vigilance or monitoring them for their for their review system or their appraisal system, but more like we are there to guide them and help them, because if they become better, eventually our business become better.
That's right. That's right. People become the most important part of this, right? And unfortunately, that gets missed often. The other thing is you have to be willing to put the time and energy into the people, which means you have to have processes that support that within the organization. And from the sounds of it, you take both your engineering hat and your software leadership hat and kind of put those together in order to make sure that you have communication and alignment. You've got a hard thing because you have also got the customers in front of you. Now, in your case, as CTO, you're dealing a lot with your engineering, who you've got to then hold accountable to. Are they actually meeting the need of the business stakeholders? Are they delivering seamless, scalable solutions? I imagine that there's a lot of nuance in that because engineers speak their own language.
And I'm trying not to speak that language here.
I appreciate that. However, I think it's really important for people to know that leadership and decision making lives in multiple levels in an organization. And a CTO has to actually communicate in a certain way. My CTO was talking to me the other day. Here's a perfect example. He was talking to me the other day and he was saying things to me about our product, asking me questions. And I was, what is he saying? I didn't want to get defensive because what is he actually saying to me? And I actually went and I did a chat GPT on it. I was like, yo, Here's the words that he spoke. What is he saying? Like, he's a super smart dude. My CTO is like the dude who built the technology at Shutterfly. He's like a super smart dude. Like, I don't get it. And he goes, and ChatGPT goes back and say, he's asking you about customer perspective in certain areas. I'm like, dang it. If he were talking to his own, everyone would have understood that. Does that ever happen on your team?
To a certain extent, but the issue is that, not the issue, but the benefit of things is that we, all the co-founders, are originally the software engineers. So we understand those terms. We have been through that cycle of software development. We kind of understand what people are trying to talk about, and I think it helps us in some way.
Yeah, it's probably where you're super helpful for founders who are trying to build something, because you've now been on both sides of the plane. You understand the person trying to build something has one language, and then the person who needs to build it needs a set of information and speaks a different language. So you can probably translate that really well.
Yeah.
Let's jump in. Speaking of persona and perspective, I am going to go through and explore your decision-making style through a persona assessment. So I'm going to ask you 4 different questions, and each one of them represents a different decision-making approach. And after each one, you're going to tell me how much the way that I'm asking the question resonates with how you actually approach your decisions. And you're going to have a scale of 0 to 100% for each question, but only 100% total. Does that make sense? Okay, here we go. The first one is called it's a values-driven leader. So this persona prioritizes alignment with core values and mission, often weighing the human impact of cultural fit of decisions alongside business metrics. When considering a new technology initiative or AI implementation, I ask myself, does this align with our commitment to delivering scalable, secure solutions that not only drive business growth, but also respect user privacy and foster trusted relationships? Even if a more technically impressive solution might generate short-term results, I need to feel confident that we're building lasting value and positive impact beyond just metrics. How much of you thinks like that, Jawaid?
I am myself more of a numbers or data-backed person. But when you're dealing with people, there needs to be a certain percentage where you need to go with the intuition or the feeler kind of percentage, a feeler kind of thing. And I would say around 30%.
All right, 30%, that leaves you 70% left. Okay, here's the next one. It's called the planner. It's the strategic visionary. So this persona focuses on long-term implications and future-proofing decisions, always thinking several moves ahead and considering multiple scenarios. So when making strategic decisions about technology architecture or product roadmaps, I ask myself, what are the long-term implications of this choice for scalability, security, and adaptability over the next 5 to 10 years? I need to map out how AI advancements, blockchain evolution, and regulatory changes will impact our solutions and ensure they remain robust and future-proof. Where do you stand on that one?
All right. So I have a question on that. Can I change the previous percentage? Because I think I am 90 or 100% in that category.
You can. You've got 70% left, and there are still 2 more after this. So you can make an adjustment now if you like.
I think I would put myself at least 50 to 60% here, but let's put 50% number here because this is totally me, because then sometimes that is the thing which kind of make me block things, and I don't want to block things because there are certain decisions that need to be taken immediately, and I'm like, let me think of what is going to be the implication of this decision after 10 years or after this technology changes or if this many users comes into the platform. So I would put 50% onto this.
Okay, do you want to take your feeler down a little bit?
About 20% to 20%.
Okay. All right, so we'll put your feeler at 20%, your planner at 50%, so that leaves you with 30% left, okay, for the next 2. Here's the next one. So the next one is called the counter. It's a challenger of assumptions. So this persona naturally questions conventional wisdom and looks for contrarian opportunities, often finding success by zigging when others zag. So when evaluating technology strategies or software solutions, I ask myself, what assumptions are we making about how organizations adopt AI and blockchain that might be fundamentally flawed? What are others doing that we should question? I tend to dig into why certain approaches work and whether there's a more innovative method leveraging our expertise to solve problems differently.
I believe, yes, I questions things because one of the thing that I believe is that anything is possible. And what I see in most of the senior people in their domain is that they are very boxed in and to their preconceived experience that this is how the way things are, right? And due to that, their growth or their company growth is limited. And the way I see, like for example, recently you see chat gpt cloud, these are the new tools by the new younger people, and they have a growth because they are thinking in a different direction. They are questioning the predefined notions of things, that how this is the way, only the way things be, and they are questioning them, challenging them, and they have a exponential growth. So if I would rate myself around 25% on that aspect. Yeah.
All right, 25%. So that leaves you only 5% left, okay? Here we go. Here's the very last one. It's called the data driver. It's an evidence-based decision maker. So this persona relies heavily on metrics, analytics, and concrete evidence to validate decisions, preferring proof over intuition. So before making important decisions about technology investments or product features, I ask myself, what does our performance data tell us about solution effectiveness, user adoption, and long-term business impact? I want to see concrete analytics on system performance, security metrics, and customer outcomes to validate our strategic direction. Where do you stand?
I think I would have to again readjust the whole percentage.
Here we go. Tell me what you would do.
I think the feeder would go down to 10%.
Okay.
The planner would go down to around 40%.
Okay.
The last one,
Counter.
yeah, I would go to around 15%.
Okay.
That would be around 65. So I would be giving 35% to the database driven.
Yeah, that makes sense and very much aligns where you are planning, you are looking at data and information, and you are planning, right? You are thinking about what is happening today and what will happen 5 to 10 years from now. So that's awesome. So the whole thing about this, 10% feeler, 40% planner, 15% counter, 35% data driver. It's kind of balanced. That's it. We just want you to be a balanced decision maker. I think it's awesome. You'll be able to share that information with your team. There's no right or wrong answer, by the way, on this, right? But the idea is wherever you're high, there are people on your team that probably need to match, or wherever you're lower, right? You find people who are high in those areas. For example, my CTO, he is the ultimate counter. When I am looking for a contrarian view, I can go to him to get it. He's fantastic at it, but it's very important that you have a person like that on your team. So thank you so much for doing that. It's just a fun little exercise. I hope it was fun for you. As we kind of wrap up this conversation, I have one final question for you. You've been able to help these organizations to think about how to implement artificial intelligence, how to handle their blockchain, how to build up their automation, how to try and unlock all of their potential, but also maintain security and scalability in their solutions. If you could give one piece of advice to leaders who want to leverage technology for meaningful digital transformation, what would that advice be?
I would say you need to adopt new technology with haste, because normally what happens is that even in a bigger businesses, there's a very long process of taking decisions, and most of the times those decisions or ideas get buried in the corporate hierarchy. The way technology is changing, need to move with the pace of technology change. Otherwise, your business would diminish in the next few years or so.
That's fantastic. Great advice. Thank you so much, Jawaid, for sharing your expertise with us. It's been an awesome time having you on the show. I really do appreciate your approach. I appreciate your leadership style. I love that you combine both innovation, but you really do, with your people-focused methods, have values-driven impact, and that can be inspirational. I hope it's inspirational to the folks who are listening. Would you share with the folks who are listening where they can learn more about you and more about KoderLabs?
So yeah, you can follow us on LinkedIn, KoderLabs with K, KoderLabs, and we have a website, KoderLabs.com. So yeah, do follow us and reach out to us, and we are here to help.
Fantastic. And to our listeners, we want to thank you for tuning in. Remember, the best decisions come from great conversations. If you've enjoyed this episode, we'd love for you to subscribe it, rate it, share it with your network, and let's keep the conversation going on social media using Dynamic Decisions Podcast. And until next time, keep questioning, keep growing, and keep leading with purpose.